Hey YouTube family. How are you? I hope everyone's well. Welcome or welcome back. If you're new here, my name's Sarah, and this week I've been sharing and feeling into the air element and the corresponding mental plane, the mind. Everywhere that I've gone to film today and yesterday, it's ended up being really busy and quite noisy, but hopefully we'll be good here today. So for each element, I want to provide some simple practices, tools to deeper understand and facilitate the embodiment of any element within our practice. And I'm going to do that in the form today of a context and a perspective around the air element. And when we think about a context of an element, we're really sharing the quality of it and therefore how it wishes to move through our body. And when I share a perspective of an element, I'm going to be coming from the angle of the dream of the element, and we'll talk about that in a moment. So when it comes to the air element, we are talking about a masculine force. The quality of air is assertive, it's direct, it's masculine. Now, at the moment, I'm working with the air essentially when we work with the elements, we're working with the medicine wheel, right? So at the moment, I'm working with the air element in the north, and there's a reason for that. It resonates for me at the moment, and that represents one of the strands of the Mayan shamanic tradition. But please take what resonates and leave the rest. It's just a perspective as to what element goes with what direction, because you will find in different traditions across the world that people place the element in different directions. And some people, even within the Mayan tradition, there is some debate, but the shaman that I worked with said to me, and it's something that resonates with me, there isn't any right or wrong way. There's no need to get fixated on it as in the mind as, oh, that's not the way that I've been taught, or do whichever way resonates with you, what way feels good in the body, what way works. And ultimately we're still leaving the wheel, we're moving into the wheel in one place and we're leaving it in another. And really the embodied teachings of the elements and the medicine wheel is more about the qualities of the elements and how they work in symbiosis with the others. The essence of the medicine wheel is that it's a spiral, it's constantly moving. It's like the wheel of fortune in the sense that it's a spiral, a moving structure. In other words, we're never done and we're never stuck or fixed in one place. Now, the reason that I'm working with air in the north is because I'm working with the energy of the first breath. Some traditions see the north as, well, all really in terms of the dark space. Some people associate the earth with that and the ancestors, others with the first breath. Okay, and this is what I'm working with at the moment, the north essentially as the first breath of creation, the father energy. Now, this masculine assertive energy, what it represents in our body essentially is breath, awareness, and observation. The energy of it in the purest divine mind sense is the intelligent spark of the universe, the solar light, the information, the activation, the inspiration as it comes through our field, the idea, the spark of genius, the spark of life itself. So something that the breath as the Father teaches us is that we give and receive in equal measure. If you think about taking a breath, you don't breathe in and think, oh God, have I got the right to take this? And for every in-breath you exhale. So the breath of life, the very conceptual breath of creation that sparks life, moves through the body all the time. The movement for all the elements that's what all of it is, movement, constant movement. So can we observe this movement without becoming fixated on something? Can we consciously become connected to the breath for deeper inspiration, insight, peace and calmness and stillness? And can we practice conscious awareness of self? So when we think about the qualities of an element, we can kind of relate that to how they wish to move through the body. And when we identify any rigidity, imbalance or stagnation in that area, in the mind here, for example, we can bring the breath into that space. We can bring the awareness of the frequency of that through the body, and also bring in a deeper sense of observation of self rather than everything outside. So the perspective of air, what does that mean? When we work with the elements in the medicine wheel and in shamanic traditions, I dream weave, I do shamanic practices. It's my home in the sense of how I'm called to connect, practice, how things feel as if they make sense to me. It's the earth-based wisdom. But one of the things with shamanic work and perspective is that we are not just dreamers, we were also dreamt into being. So we are the dreamer within the dream. So we as humans were part of our mother's dream, the earth's dream. And we are made up of the elements, and the elements are the conscious forces which enable manifest life, matter, right? The earth herself. So we were dreamt into being by the consciousness of the elements. Now the vibration or the force, if you like, of air, the quality in a sense, or the purpose, is to see. The conceptual breath of the Father, of pure consciousness itself, it's vision, it's seeing in that way. Not seeing as in observing with judgment as humans do, but the very organic, pure, I see, a concept. That pure frequency of the idea. Well, God, Great Spirit, consciousness, had an idea for a human, right? We were conceptualized and we were visioned by the Creator, I believe, in perfection. In other words, if the quality of air, that divine inspiration, vision, were to create through heart's intention a human being, and it says in the Bible, doesn't it? Like, in other words, it's like made in God's image, right? So that seeing ability of consciousness itself of God, that sort of, wow, let's create a magnificent human being. That intention, conception, to me, comes from pure perfection. We were visualized into being, visioned into being, through the heart's intention of the divine Creator. We were seen through the eyes of love. We are perfect as a extension and expression of God's source. So if we think about the original vision of air, the air energy that wants to ignite, activate, inspire, that would be like a world or human beings that were perfectly aligned with their higher consciousness, present, awake and aware of self and the aspects of self that are really visioning, sharing and collaborating in that higher consciousness frequency. That's how I see the concept, the original dream of the human, of the air element in the human being, through the human being. So the dream of the element, what's the original dream of the elements? And this is an exercise, it's something, a practice that we go really deep, so many other deeper practices, to do the deeper work with people or work one-on-one around this kind of elemental embodiment. There are so many deeper practices around the elements which really unlock so much within. For example, we spoke into hardened thoughts and beliefs, concepts of self. We work with the tree consciousness and the spider medicine, who basically, the spider medicine eats up our hardened thoughts. And when we feel into our role and capacity as dreamers, that's one thing, but then we're also like, wow, I am part of the dream. I'm part of the process. I was dreamt into being by my earthly parents. I was dreamt into being by my cosmic parents. I was dreamt into being as part of the earth's dream. What would be the organic, original dream to you? The true dream. And we work with this question quite a lot when we get to the fire energy as well, because when we feel into the ancestors, for example, the ancestors had a dream for us as well. And our ancestors' dreams may be something we've already fulfilled. And now it's down to us to dream a new dream. Where are we living under the projections of others' dreams? So there's a lot in this work, and it's very, very beautiful to assist in this process of knowing self deeper and becoming more aware of our true nature. So that's just a little bit for you to accompany the conversations that we've been having around the air element, working with it, feeling it as a force that moves through our being, feeling its qualities, how they wish to express themselves, feeling the state of being when things are balanced as opposed to imbalanced, and how we can observe that on a daily basis within. We can check in with ourselves daily just by feeling into the qualities. How aware of myself and my thoughts am I at the moment? What am I observing, and how connected am I to my breath and the cleansing? When we did the card yesterday, when I shared the card yesterday, it mentioned being intentional with your breath for that to cleanse your body. And I think the more we do with intention generally, the more powerful that is. So yeah, that's my share for today. Unless another message comes through, I may move to fire tomorrow and feel into the quality, the transformational quality of fire, which is really important for us right now, right? To kind of to nurture, to tend to. So whatever you're doing today, wherever you are in the world, whenever this finds you, I'm sending you so much love. Thank you for being here. Thank you for receiving. And also, if you're new here, if any of the other titles, any of the messages, readings resonate with you, do go back and receive them. All of my medicine is timeless. Everything now. We're not in linear time. We're in a spiral of time. The medicines, the readings, the messages, the channels, it's timeless. And it's pure frequency and resonance. If it resonates with you, it's for you. If it doesn't, leave it for somebody else. But I'm really happy to have you here, and yeah, I'm sending you so much love. Until next time.